Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm still stoked.
Dude, I think it's so amazing you got in. That's awesome.
I still can't believe it.
All those marathons you pledged to over the last, year for randomizer and everything else, it's now paying off.
It is.
I love it.
It helps that I'm only, just under world record and only one of two people in the world who have a sub 11-minute run on this game.
Pretty damn good, not gonna lie. It's terrible, terrible game.
I mean, this run is terrible. The game is great. The run is horrible.
I mean, it's interesting. I'll give it that. It's just it sucks for the casual viewer because there's so much stuff off screen happening.
This run is stupid. That's the end of story. This run is stupid.
I'll be sure to plug that in there somewhere.
On that note, how do you want to do this?
Like I said, I mean, I know pretty much the entire run. The only thing I don't really know what's happening is the off-screen stuff to make the zips happen.
So in the ones where I push myself backwards out of the screen, the only thing I do is I push myself to a point where I fall. Mm-hmm. And then at a specific time, I turn to the right, which causes the screen transition. Which causes me to transition on the left side of the screen, which puts me on the other side of barriers.
Okay.
The second one, what's it called? The one at the end of the game where I put myself...
Yeah, that big zip to get basically into
the last room, yeah.
So, into Amasha Lama's room, basically, yeah.
So basically what I'm doing there is just holding right and walking through a couple of rooms. And at one point I have to make a very small hop over a block that's there. Because if I hop too high, it causes the transition, which completely screws it. Because
that ruins it up, yeah.
Yeah, that one just sends you sideways. And that's walk a bit to the right until you see yourself go up on the minimap. Because you can actually see yourself go up. Okay. And you'll hit a point where you stop. And at that point you have to jump, and while the screen is transitioning downward, you have to let go of right at a semi-specific time. And that kind of is what determines on whether or not it sends you through the ceiling or through the floor.
Okay.
Which is why it's totally janky. And the good news there is if it fails and sends me through the floor, good old Alt F4 will let me reload back at the drone save right before it to just immediately retry it again.
Yeah, so it's basically just a minor time loss if it does happen.
Basically,
yeah.
It's
not ruining our run. Okay. That's interesting.
Hopefully Discord will play nice on streaming this to you, so you can have things at a reasonable rate to commentate.
I mean, if for some reason it doesn't, I mean, we all know it's just practice right now, so I can always just go on your Twitch and it'll be delayed a little bit, but yeah. What's the worst that happens?
Hi, Gooey. Yeah, we really need to get back to Harmony of Despair. We ended up having an issue where, Chris's work schedule is getting thrown all over the place. I started working again. Jev's work schedules had him on nights a lot. And Anna Jani still works days, and so it's just been hard to get the four of us together to actually have the time to play. We'll get back to it at some point, I just unfortunately don't know when just yet. Yeah, we'll get you in there one of these days. Like I said, we will get back to it, it's a matter of schedules lining up, unfortunately. Alright, Felix, since you know the run, you want to just wing some commentary then?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, I assume we're going to do a few runs anyway, so if the first one's absolutely terrible, we'll just learn and move on.
Yeah. So, I figure we'll be here till one of three things. Either I get sick of running the game, you get sick of commentating, or it hits midnight, whichever comes first.
Alright, I can work with that. Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be one of the first two options, but either way, I'm okay with that.
I mean, I don't mind running this a whole lot. I gotta get a lot of practice into this. I'm really, really, really good at the run. But it's I'm still on the verge of like, am I GDQ ready?
Well, the good thing about GDQ is, I mean, it's not about putting up a monster time. It's just about showcasing what the run is about more than anything. So
I mean,
as long as you go into that mindset where let's have a good time with it, you know. We'll make a few jokes with it. We'll have some good banter. Yeah. You know, if it's just me doing most of the commenting, or if it's just Thorial or us together, or some combination, whatever. Yeah. It'll all work itself out. It's more just about showcasing a new game, which is awesome.
Right. And I've already determined like a spot or two where you can throw to donations.
Okay, cool.
Like right after I get ledge grapple, there's like a minute and a half or so until I get to the hacking ability. And it's just going through a bunch of screens. It's just jumping past a bunch of enemies. That's all it is. There's nothing impressive in that whole section.
What I'm gonna do too is I'm actually gonna
make some notes.
Take notes of my own here, just so that way to make it easier. Like I said, I mean, I've seen these runs, but I haven't actually watched one of these runs in a little while, so it's gonna come back to me. But the first go through is gonna be a lot more me of probably just watching it and like writing notes to myself. I'll make a few comments here and there, but kind of more like I should say something about this spot, and then the second run or third run is when I'll try to like free flow it like it's really the run happening.
And then the other spot I thought of was at the end of the game when I'm doing the last skew to get into the boss room. If I flop it, well, like, you should probably be able to explain the setup and the skew in the like time that it takes to like go do drone, make the save, and then go to Indra, go out of bounds, all that stuff. And then, like, during the skew, be able to explain, like, the whole thing with, like, setting off the bomb. Mm-hmm. Which would give you, like, a moment to be like, if there's any last donations, you got about a minute to get them in before the run ends.
Yeah, we'll say it's about squeezing one or two in if that happens.
Yeah. Time is on fade to black. That kind of thing. Because other than that, like, the run is just going to be non-stop talking because of just how much crap
there's so much thing jammed into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. You ready to
get so like I said, first run, I'm just going to make notes to myself. I'll say a few things here and there, but it's not going to be a lot of me talking. I want to watch it again and just kind of get my flow for it. And then
there's going to be...
second or third time around, I'll start getting more into it for you.
There'll be a few things that I'll probably mention as we're going to, because I don't necessarily know if they're like well-known or anything, because I didn't even find out about them till semi-recently.
Yeah, obviously any major talking points or notes that you want to hit, you know, shout them out to me and I'll make sure to note them and get them in too.
Alright, you ready to go?
Whenever you are, my friend.
Hi, guys. So, for anyone who hasn't heard and didn't catch the beginning of that conversation with me and Falc, I got into AGDQ 2022 to play Axiom Verge 2. And I'm still just like, holy crap, I can't believe this is actually happening. So, now I'm at the point where it's like, I have to actually practice the game a bit. And for reasons that are beyond what I care to discuss, because it's not my business to discuss, I'm trying to get some people to learn the run a bit and learn to commentate this run, I guess you could say. So today, Falc is joining me, and he's going to do commentary because when I actually do the run on GDQ, it's going to be probably a lot of me just concentrating and doing the run, and whoever's on my couch that day just basically commentating the whole thing.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure what date and time this is happening yet, so we're going to have Seraphin's going to have a few people over the next weeks or so trying this out to make sure that a number of us know what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to be you, Thorial, and Jeveroth said he would also probably sit down and learn the run. He's never even touched Axiom Verge, and he said he'd sit down and learn the run to do the commentary if I need it.
That's a cool friend right there. Love it.
We'll have somebody on the couch because I don't think I can commentate this run by myself. All right, I'm gonna go in 3, 2, 1, go. You know the like story to this game, right?
Yes.
So like, you might want to throw a thing here at the beginning, like, so we're playing as Indra. She was bought in a company in Antarctica and that kind of stuff, and then just be like, anyways, all that doesn't matter anyways because you're not gonna see any story in this run.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we say at AV1 when we do commentary, too. We're like, hey, there's a whole lot of lore, there's a whole big story, just know there's protagonist gets lost in world, and chaos happens. It's basically what we say, in some form, so that'll be fine.
In true Metroidvania fashion, we're going left to get our first item.
Yeah, I'm going to mention about abusing the save quit right there and how the mechanic works a little bit.
This is actually a quicker box kill right there. If you jump and hit, it cancels your hit on landing, so you can immediately do it again. And as long as you don't let go of right, you don't lose momentum there.
Did not know that. There you go. I love this game casually. I never looked into it speedrun-wise, which is really sad for me.
That right there is the one thing I hope I don't botch on GDQ, because I have missed hitting that switch so many times.
Oh, yeah. I used to do that a lot.
There's the door trick here.
Yep, so you duck down the elevator, get to close it a little bit quicker. Yep.
Have to go out, it's too late, I have to sleep. Alright, Gooey, have a good night. We'll get you in on Castlevania one of these days. Hitting that on like a pixel perfect lets you get over that box without touching it. I almost never actually make that though. Everybody has their own method for this room. I prefer to just drop. I don't know why people jump.
You can time the corner because in AV, there's always faster vertical speed than horizontal. So if you can time the jump just right to get around the corner, you'll get down faster. But it's very, very tight.
That has the whole like 8 sound effect thing. And this is the thing I found out, that if you hit the item button as soon as you go vertical with Indra, you start drowning immediately instead of taking the extra like 1 or 2 seconds.
Alright, so we're going to mention that. We go item selection at vertical for faster death animation.
Yep. It only saves like 1 or 2 seconds, but 1 or 2 seconds in an 11-minute run is a lot of time.
It's huge. It's huge.
You, for the love of God, have to let me say, and remember, all the cool kids do the moonwalk.
Well, my friend, good news, it's your run. You get to say whatever you want.
Because yeah, this is happening at GDQ. There's no way
I was gonna say, now this part, there's not a whole lot going on, so if you actually just want to explain how to do that, really, you can do that too if you want, because it's a very easy explanation.
No, but I figure you might want to explain that during, like, the drowning. Because this I do on audio cue.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. See, I do that on audio cue, so it's like I assume you might want to explain like the backdashing prior to me getting to that screen somehow.
Okay. That's not a problem. Like I said, during the death animation, I can just explain how the moonwalk works very simply.
And sub 4 minute to get that item is really good time. Oh, I missed the ledge. I was on really good pace. And then, like, this is, like, a whole section of, like, a lot of nothing but just platforming. So, it's like, this is a spot where you can throw donations, because we ain't doing nothing for, like, almost 2 minutes.
Okay.
This is literally just me jumping a bunch. That's it. Aside from, like, the jump and hitting the bush thing, because the bush just slow you down.
Yeah.
That's a weapon we'll never pick up. I did finally figure out how to 100% dodge this mine.
Oh, very nice. I've seen so many runs where people got doinked by that thing. I'm like, just got out of the way. But that was beautiful.
This will be the part where you want to mention holding down R2 on picking up this item. Because that starts the thing to go off immediately. Also, sub 6 minute on that's really good time. Oh, got hit. Woo! Saved it. It was almost really bad. And then, like, this whole spot's a spot where you could get another donation or so, because I ain't gonna get the next time until close to 7 minutes.
I mean, I think this would probably be a spot where we talk about the game a little bit and just be, you know, this game has all the bosses, but every boss in this game is fully skippable, as you're about to see Seraphin do right now.
Yep.
It's our first boss. Say hello and goodbye.
And then there's a trick right here where if you hit this item and pull up the save quit menu at the like a frame perfect, you can save and quit out without seeing that animation.
Okay.
Which I only have like a 30% chance of hitting, but it saves like 7 seconds if you get it. And then Moonwalk Part 2 to the area right below where you would have picked up Boomerang if you were playing this casually. And I'm going to make the longest... I don't know what the actual thing is for... the actual name of the trick for knocking yourself out of the screen to do stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either, to be honest with you. But...
yeah. But this is the longest one in the game, and it's really, really long.
And this is where we may mention, you know, if you look at the mini-map, we can kind of still see Indra's position. That kind of gives us our rough idea of what we got to do here.
Yeah, right till that little fall. And just a reminder, I do that on cue. And then, like, this would be probably where you'd want to start explaining the skew for the end. Something being in this room puts you at, like, in the area of the end of the game. Which is why you're able to actually do this trick. That was bad.
I would say, whoops, that's... right, okay.
I meant to hit the drone there so I could see Indra. That's probably too high. Basically, I'm just positioning Indra in the spot where the block that we opened was. So that when I release drone and go back to it, because the game saves each of their positions individually.
Yeah, it saves the XY coordinates.
Yeah, I missed it.
That was a little high, yeah.
That one might be fine. Something like Indra and the drone each save at save points individually. So when you release from one, it puts you back to where the other one was exactly, and that pushes you out of bounds because you were in a wall. And then at the second line here, we'll stop and we'll make a small little jump that'll let us keep going, and it'll rise us up on the map, and we jump, let go of right, and we pray. And then this would be the spot to, like, explain the bomb, which is basically just trigger 4 switches, trigger the bomb, and I forgot to hold R2 going through there. And then, like, last minute for donations before, while I run like heck.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a little joke about, like, any true Metroid game. The game's not over until we escape.
Yeah, that works. I think I botched the entire end of this run. The beginning was good.
I mean, I don't know how much you've played this lately, but still, I mean,
I haven't played this lately.
So, ain't nothing to sneeze at here. Like I said, if this was your run in GDQ, we'd all be like, you know what, great job.
Yeah.
No problems at all.
This is still going to be sub 12.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I assume your estimate is, what, 15?
13.
To be safe? 13? Okay, so, yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Make funny joke about Indra not skipping armor leg day. And time. On Fade to Black. On Fade to Black. That's what we'll... Yeah, once we start doing that vertical climb, we'll be like, all right, and time's coming up on Fade to Black. And...
Yeah, 11:34, it's solid.
I mean, that's rock solid. 3% still stupid.
It is.
It's so stupid.
And the best part about it is I found out picking up the compass doesn't change it from 3%, so I'm just like, I'm going to just start picking up Swag Compass now. Because you could pick it up without stopping. Yeah, 11 and a half.
That's pretty good. All right, so...
if I could sub 12 at GDQ, I'll be thrilled.
And then, like... I do want to mention that there's supposed to be a final boss there. In that room with the bombs. But, it doesn't show up why.
something boss missing.
I mean, something we didn't trigger a cutscene to make it feel like there was a final boss. I don't know.
There's actually a thing behind that too.
I honestly don't know what makes the boss not show up there. I don't know if it's just we didn't trigger a certain cutscene that like when you did it, because we didn't switch places with Indra or with what's her name?
When you never became the drone, Amashalama never took over your body.
Okay, that's why it doesn't do it. Okay.
To go and get the thing to become the last boss, and that was the thing that wasn't originally in the game. Like it, regardless of how it was just the boss would still be there. And when they were beta testing the game, they discovered you could skip that and get to the end of the game and the boss would still be there. And they brought it up to Tom, and Tom was like, oh, yeah, that's a really good point. We should probably do something about that. And he just took the final boss out if you don't trigger that cutscene.
That's so good. I like that.
I mean, it's canon at that point, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great decision by Tom, honestly.
Hi, Maragon.
I think that's a great idea.
Hi, Angie. If you guys don't hear me responding a lot, it's because I'm going to be running this and probably concentrating on it a lot. Falk is doing my commentary today as GDQ couch practice. Yeah,
doing the best I can to not fail too bad, lad. That's all we're doing.
You know what? I mean, it is what it is, so...
And I'm talking about me. You're going to do fabulous. I'm just making sure I can speak clearly. That's all I'm looking for.
The boss does not exist canonically. Yes, that is correct. Yes, Maragon, what did you notice? Mostly because I'd be interested to know before I go and do another one.
Okay, if he's gonna type, I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna blow my nose real quick.
Yeah. On the downhill over the glacier, you had a few bad door alignments. Okay, explain, please. On the downhill of the glacier. Okay. Like, I'd have to go back and look, but it's like... I do this run so quick, I don't even notice it. So if you enter a screen transition, the next one does not align, then the camera scrolls up and down as well, which loses a few frames each time. Huh. Which screens in particular is that? Because I don't really notice. Nice video in the week. Thank you for keeping the AV2 wiki updated. I'll have to take a look at it later and see if I can make sense of it. Like, the way that I run currently is just the way that I run. Don't ask me why, it's just what feels comfortable to me, I guess you could say. Explains the same thing to Mushi. Oh yeah, I think I remember you guys talking about that. So I didn't really get a chance to look at it. Just busy day at work, so. I assume that was a link. And I assume it was Nightbot blocking you, probably. I don't think I have a thing to allow you to post links. Stupid Nightbot, making me look bad.
I was gonna say it's gonna have to be a Discord DM coming in.
Yeah. If you want to send it over to Falc should be able to send it to you. Or post it in chat. I don't know if Mikey's here tonight to be able to post something. Alright, I'm gonna start another one. Falc, I'm gonna leave chat to you.
Okay, sounds good. Do what I can.
Also, I'm thinking for GDQ, I'm gonna set up so that way the plane is red. Because it's a rather easy setup to just do before starting the run.
Alright, there we go. Allow me to post that link, though. So there it is for after the run. Alright, so everybody, welcome to Axiom Verge 2. This game's going to feature Indra. It's going to take place in Antarctica. You're going to see right there, we instantly go left in any true Metroidvania, and we're going to abuse our first save quit of the game. By allowing us to save quit, we actually are able to take Indra and get her back to her initial position of the game, saving us just a few seconds over making the walk back. You're going to see we're going to abuse that in another spot too. This game has an interesting mechanic where if Indra or the drone saves at any point in the game, that's where we can save quit back to. You're going to see Seraphim do that a little bit later on in the run. So right now in the beginning, we're going back to get the power turned on. We're actually going to use another save quit here to get us back to the beginning at the base of the tower here. And that's going to allow us to go to the right side to get through our elevator here. Again, saves just a couple of seconds to be able to save us from having to walk back and forth. Go to the elevator here, we're going to duck down to get the prompt to go through the door just a little bit quicker. Again, in an 11-minute run, we're trying to save as many frames as we possibly can here.
Something head height.
I'm in for that. Right now, just basic platforming going all the way through. We're going to get our first little rumbles here of an earthquake. Something's going on. Cannon, lore, things of that nature, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have... Serap's going to get the swag grab on the compass here. Totally unneeded item, but... makes a nice pretty little donut on the screen for us to look at. So now Serap's going to be going here to attempt for the quick death here. By going up against the wall here, as soon as Indra goes vertical... Seraphim's going to go right to the item select menu here, and that's actually going to allow Indra to die just a little bit quicker than normal. Again, saving precious seconds for us.
You might want to explain that, like, something with, like, catching the wall while the water's rising actually causes you to get stuck so you can actually just drown faster.
I know, that's such a strange mechanic.
It is.
I love it. I love it. I think that was one of those things that Tom, like, probably saw it and goes, oh well.
Just, you mentioned the quick death, and I was like, you didn't explain the quick death, though.
Yeah.
And remember, all the cool kids do the moonwalk.
I was going to say, in that moment, I would have started to explain the moonwalk. You're going to say your line, we're gonna say this is probably a good moment if there's any donations you'd like to read. We'll give them about 2 minutes of time.
I wouldn't, because this next.
Or no,
thing
no,
is
it's after ledge grab. It's after ledge grab. Yeah, my bad, my bad.
This would be the part where you very quickly need to explain the backdash out of the screen, because that happens right here, and
right here. Right. So by having Indra block position and use the melee weapon to go down. Yep.
Fun note is VGR found out you can do that at a maximum of 194 beats per minute, and literally 1 BPM faster starts eating inputs.
Of course VGR found that.
Yeah, 350 is solid on that.
Alright, now would be the time to start to say about donations.
Just like, we're gonna walk through...
There's gonna be a lot of tight platforming for the next couple of minutes. That's about it.
Yep.
Right.
I see. I see what Maragon meant about the screen slightly realigning. Okay, I have to work on that particular jump then. Ooh, that was an accident. Accidentally tapped R1. That hurt. Then somewhere right around the beginning of that room is where you want to be able to mention this.
Yep, holding down and swinging.
Holding R2 while hitting
R2
the urn.
while hitting it gets the distortion going faster right away for us. Again, saving another second or two there.
And then like another half minute of just platforming to get drone. Should probably actually find out what the item names are.
Yeah, we'll get all the real names and do all that. Because I honestly forget all of them. It's terrible.
I mean, I run this and I don't even know that.
I mean, it took me like 4.5 years to learn all the area names of Axiom Verge 1, so whatever. I'm still ahead of the curve. For this game, at least.
And you can mention the boss thing there.
Yep.
And then this trick, if I hit it, I think I'm slow on hitting it. Like, I think I need to be doing that faster. And then Moonwalk Part 2 to the longest backstab out of the screen. Finally getting good at not catching the ledges on my way down.
You did really well, actually, right there. I like that a lot. All right.
That one's slow. And then this would be all talk of the skew.
Yep. And setting up for Indra's XY position so we can get pushed out of bounds.
Oh, that was perfect and I accidentally double tap start.
Yeah, that was gorgeous. I loved it. Oh. There we go.
Immediately start holding R2. And if you say that, I'll remember. Tiny jump. Jump and pray. Chance to explain about the bomb room. And then any last donations before we run like heck? 2 in a row.
Gorgeous. Okay. Yep. There we go. Metroid escape sequence initiated. And then time is going to be coming up here soon on Fade to Black. Indra makes like a magician and goes behind the wall.
Throwing the drone on the ledge is faster.
Oh, it's very fast. It's just, I love it. We don't care about Indra, we only care about Damu.
It's like half a second faster.
As long as somebody escapes, the game is happy.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who.
And then we can be sad when I get 10% on map coverage instead of 9.
You poor thing. I feel so awful.
Is
that just because you lost Indra the first time you tried to get her in the wall?
No,
Is
actually.
that the tile?
So right after the save point in the transition from the snow to desert-ish area, there's that part where you jump up on the ledge and go from the top of the stairs so you can land on the upper platform just slightly faster. And if you jump too high there, you catch a tile that's up above the platform when you jump through the screen.
Gotcha.
So if you jump low and make it to the very edge of the platform, you get 9%. But if you jump high and guarantee you're landing on the platform, you get 10%. Ain't that a bitch? Two solid runs down. Like, if I can land a run like this at AGDQ, I will be thrilled. Like, anything under 11.5 is is just perfect. And if I somehow PB or world record at GDQ, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like, I swear to God, I'm just gonna lose it on stream.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm here for that.
Good news is since it's a 13-minute estimate, if I make a run this fast and I don't end up having to force close the game to reload, that means we come in under estimate and I get a minute to do shoutouts and actually, like, thank people and stuff. Like Maragon, for example, who found that last skew that gets us into the boss room. Like, Maragon's the entire reason that this run is a thing.
Seriously, though. And all of it found so quickly. My goodness.
Yeah, it only took, what, a couple of weeks?
It took 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It was insane. The biggest luck thing ever. I mean, what do they say? Better lucky than good? We take those. So.
I mean, I think it was Kizaron who mentioned one time at a GDQ on a Pokemon game, it's like, give shoutouts to your people who came up at these runs, because a lot of time people like me or him or whoever are the ones on stage doing these runs, but we're not the ones who figured these things out. Like, other people put a lot of hard work into making these runs what they are so that we could be there and show them off. So yeah,
absolutely.
So Maragon, you're definitely getting a shout out at GDQ. Because, like, you're the whole reason that this run exists is because of that last run, that last part. It's what Rando is, get lucky and win.
You're not wrong, Thoriel. How you doing, buddy?
That's what works for Falc.
Pretty much been my whole life, yeah.
Alright, you ready for another one?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Again, we'll do the whole small bit of story with Indra and coming here, why she's coming here in the first place. Like any true Metroidvania, we start out by going left. And allow for the use of the save quit mechanic to save time. We'll do one here, and then we'll do another one coming up after we turn the power back on. I will explain these in greater detail when I actually really try to do a run. I'm still writing notes as I'm going here.
Right. I kind of figured you were.
Yeah, I'll do one real one. Like, I'll try to, like, in a like another attempt or two here. I'll try to give you the real what I'm thinking. My first set of notes I wrote was just absolutely disgustingly ugly. I hated it already. So
under a minute is really, really good.
That was gorgeous, actually. Yeah.
58 on the Switch.
So hitting the power is going to open up the elevator here, allow us to do our duck movement.
Something, we come out of the elevator in what may or may not be Antarctica anymore. I'm just throwing ideas at you.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Just stuff to fill in the little bit.
Parallel dimension? Question mark? We see 2 humans throughout this whole thing. Compass swag. We jump here on the falling platform to get as far to the left as we can through the water. We're here across the wall. We go over to hug the wall. This allows Indra to get full vertical. It allows for a faster death animation. We'll mention about going in that. And then we'll explain the backstab.
Yeah. Something about her catching on the wall is what causes it. And you could probably also explain the, like, 8 splash thing and then immediately turn around because that's when the water starts going up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't particularly need the sound cue for that because that one's an easy sound cue.
So we're going to be doing a little bit of we're going to get our Michael Jackson on here and do a little bit of the moonwalk. Very simply by just holding 2 button directions at the same time.
On a controller is easy enough to do analog and then D-pad.
Mm-hmm. And then
all the cool kids do the moonwalk.
Yep. And in a moment, Seraphin's actually going to be doing a backstab, which is going to be locking Indra's position in place, holding down left and swinging her melee weapon, which is actually going to slowly push Indra out of bounds. We're going to need just a minute here because Seraphine's going to need an audio cue in order to make this work and transition through a barrier. Something to that effect.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll clean it up. We gotta clean all the language up, but just to get the gist.
That's an interesting place to have gotten caught. Ever been caught there?
I was gonna say, I didn't remember seeing that one before.
You could probably mention, like, watching the minimap for, like, what's going on out of bounds. Because it would give people something to look at other than just staring at the screen sitting there.
Okay.
And you could probably also mention the, like, 194 BPM thing, because that kind of institutes, like, hey, if I hit too fast, it screws this up, and it's not just a spam the button kind of deal. Though how you're gonna cram all that into that?
It's gonna be tough, but
yeah.
I mean, like I said, one of these times I'll try to do like a real, as if it was GDQ
right
commentary, and we'll just see what I can get in. If we get it in, cool. If not, you know, it is what it is.
You could always break it up into the like before and after.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we'll figure something out. Like we have a little bit of time here, so I mean, if we have to, and you know, if I have to go 30 seconds into this part and say, this is why it happens,
right?
Cool, and then we can go to donations.
Yeah, because there's like a solid minute, and that
it's like
that one right there. You see that one tile on the map that's up there?
Oh yeah. Okay, I got you. That's your difference.
Yep. If you jump too high, you hit that tile, and it gives you 10%.
Well, this run's dead.
Just kill the run.
Just rip. We're starting over. And then right about here, we try to like last donation slash. All right, you're good. They're good with that. We'll go into the slight explanation about picking up the disruptor here. Make sure that we're holding down, or yeah, down in R2 here.
Not down in R2, just R2 by itself.
What, R2 by itself? Okay. Will allow us to get the distortion or disruption immediately. Just saves another small bit of time for us.
And then I still feel like there's something we could mention here. Oh no!
Oh boy. Well, now we gotta think of something to talk about. The reason Seraphine did that was trying to set up the RNG for later on in the run.
Well, that sucks. Oh my god, this is the worst. This is what I don't want to
This is a nightmare.
That was literally awful.
Yeah, that stunk.
I at least didn't die. But I still might.
I guess it depends on what kind of attitude that robot right there has.
Yep. If that wouldn't have hit me, I might have died. I don't know how long it's been since I've heard this far into this song. It's been a really long time.
Right here's where we discuss about how all bosses in this game are optional. Say hello and goodbye to the only boss we'll see this run.
All bosses, including the final boss.
Yep. Potential frame perfect save quitting on item grab.
I am absolutely terrible at getting that now.
I mean, to be fair, it's a really tight window. Let's be honest. Like,
it's frame perfect.
That's what I mean, though. It's a really tight window. Like, it's not just something that we can... Alright, so Moonwalk Part 2, The Return.
2 humans and 1 boss. And a duck. Oh my god, you couldn't mention the duck!
And the duck!
Oh my god, you have to absolutely mention the duck. Because Chad will just explode with honks, and you know it. Like, in fact, don't even mention the duck, just say honk.
No, I'm just gonna say, and there's one honk for everybody. And right here, we probably will just mention about getting ready to set up our second backstab, which is very much the same as the first one.
And very, very long.
Mm-hmm.
I am like 50 seconds behind PB. And then this is where you'd want to be explaining the skew.
Yep, so by doing this, we're going to actually take our little drone buddy. We're actually going to save down here with him, and that's going to set up our part of the skew here. By going back to Indra, going left. If we actually can throw... We can actually open up the wall here and throw the drone and pause the game at just the right time when Indra is right up against where the wall just opened up. We can go back to title. We come back as the drone and we go back to Indra's position. Indra will actually get pushed through the wall.
Since the drone was out and active.
Since the drone was out and active, yep. Yep. And that'll push Indra through the wall. Hold R2. Or not, apparently. And this is where I yell you to hold R2 when it goes through.
Yeah. I don't know why that happens, and with my luck, it'll actually happen in GDQ. But
yeah, again, I mean, it's a 20-second time loss. It's not like...
Sometimes, even if you are lined up perfectly, to the point where this works and the skew doesn't, and you force quit and come back and reload, Indra will just pop out of that anyways.
Oh, really? Jeez.
I have no idea why. Like, just sometimes Indra will go through the block, and sometimes she won't, regardless of where she's lined up.
Alright, here's where we...
There's mash jump to get out of the ground.
Yep, some mention about holding our breath and making sure it worked right, and then we fell down. And that's when we have to Alt F4 back out and try again. And you said that's just jumping too high? Is that what you said that was?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, as far as I know, based on what VGR has told me, it's something with letting go of right while the screen is transitioning.
Okay.
I honestly, I have no idea what it actually is that causes that to work one way or another.
Okay.
I usually just try to aim for letting go of right when the pipe is in about the middle of the screen, because that seems to be about the right timing. But some days that just happens. Let's go to the home menu on Switch. Yeah, that should probably work on Switch. Like, if you just go to the home menu and force quit the game, that should probably cause effectively the same thing to happen. Some days it just doesn't want to cooperate, and that's why there's a 13-minute estimate. Despite the fact my PB is sub 11. And then other days it works.
And there we go, third time's the charm. So now we're in the final quote-unquote boss fight.
Something boss is missing.
Since we didn't actually get to ever meet the final boss in this game, the final boss doesn't exist in the room. And that's going to allow us to just trigger the escape sequence to end the game like any good true Metroidvania should be. Chance to squeeze in one more donation if they want.
You got about 30 seconds, because I'll have about 15 on the timer when it ends, give or take, somewhere in there.
Yeah, make some sort of mention. If you have a quick donation, we can squeeze one in. And then once you start the vertical climb, we'll say, and then time will be coming up momentarily on the fade to black.
Okay, I had about 12 left on the timer.
And
Previous one looked like I was too far left. Not even pushed. I might have been too far left. 12 to 12!
Or just... That's what it should be every time, see? Perfect.
Yeah, I might have jumped a little too soon on that one, Maragon. That one's on me. Just jumping the gun a little bit.
And even with the two, like, force quits, I mean, that's still, in real time, would have been a 13-minute run.
Yeah, RTA, that would have been 13.
No, that would have been fine. Just so you're aware, I lost you on Discord because you closed out the app.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Unfortunately, I don't quite have control on that one.
Yeah, I mean, no big deal. I just was letting you know, in case you wanted me to be right with you.
But, like, I think it's better that you have the actual display, because you are about 3 or 4 seconds faster than stream.
It's 3-ish seconds ahead, yeah. So.
But, I mean, 3 seconds is 3 seconds in an 11-minute run.
I agree. I could not agree more. Alright, cool. I feel like I'm zeroing in on what we need to hit more, which is good.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you try and stick a little more towards the actual commentary, or, making your notes of whatever you want to actually do for our real commentary. And then we can, in the donation period, we can mention anything that needs to be mentioned, so I'm just not gonna stop you anywhere on this run.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this game takes place in Antarctica. Our main character, Indra here, coming to investigate some weird doings. Like any true Metroidvania, we're going to start up by going left here. And you're going to see our first instance of save quit warping. So instead of having Indra have to walk all the way back to where she just was, if we go immediately save quit, you'll see Indra goes right back to the helicopter, saving us just a couple of seconds here. And you're going to see that abused a couple of times throughout the run. Right now, our main objective is we want to get the power turned back on for the base that we're at here. So you're just going to see Seraphim break some blocks, go do some basic platforming, and get to the very top of the screen, where we're going to, once again, use the save-quit mechanic. And the way that works throughout the whole game is that anytime that... Right on the beginning, we haven't used any save spots, but it always brings us back to the beginning. But once we've used a save spot, if we anytime have to use the save quit mechanic, it will bring us back to the last used save spot. And you'll see that a little bit later on in the run being used. So over here, we're going to go through this little garage door. We're going to duck down to trigger the door just a little bit quicker than if we were standing. Short people hype. And that's going to bring us into an alternate Antarctica, it seems. We're not quite sure. So as of right now, what we're going to be doing is we're looking to get down to the bottom. There's actually going to be a forced death mechanic that's coming up in just a minute here. We'll kind of explain right when we get there. But as of right now, you're starting to see some rumbles and shakes and kind of figure out what's going on. And the objective is just keep going deeper into the earth. We're going to pick up our donut here. The compass allows us to find items in the game, but as this is an N% run, items are the enemy. We must go fast. So right now, after the 8th splash with the water, you're going to see Seraphine go to the right and hug the wall. It actually almost seems like they get stuck against the wall. And as soon as Adria goes vertical there, you go right to the item selection, and actually will start the forced death a little bit quicker for us. And that's the fast way to do it. Again, saves a few precious seconds. And in an 11-minute run, we want to save as much time as we possibly can. At this point in time, when we come out, we're going to be on dry land, and Seraphine's actually going to do the moonwalk for us. This is very easily done by holding both the left and right directions at the same time.
Remember, all the cool kids do the moonwalk.
And that's going to bring us up to our first big skip of the game, and that's the backstab. In just a couple screens here, you're going to see Seraphine actually lock Indra's position in place and use her melee weapon and swing down left. And that's actually going to push her to the right and eventually off screen. Now, Seraphine has to do this to an audio cue, so I'm going to have to shut up and be faster with my explanation right there. Make mention of using the mini-map there, and that by pressing right at the correct time, it actually does a screen transition, but it puts you on the other side of the barrier, allowing us to grab the ledge grab item here. If I need to use a little bit of that time right here to kind of finish explaining that trick, then that's what I can do.
I was 2 seconds ahead of PB until I missed that urn.
That was really quick, yeah. And again, this is where we say, this would be a good time for a couple of donations.
I think that coming right out the moonwalk, you should start explaining what's going to happen, and then just cut yourself off and just be like, honk, and then continue on with your explanation.
I can do that.
Like, as soon as the bird flies away.
Maybe what we should do is we'll make mention of that in the beginning of the run, saying, "Oh, by the way, there's a couple of ducks, so if I just randomly honk, you'll know why," or something to that effect. Or do you want to just do it?
I wouldn't even mention it. Just be like,
absolute honk. All right.
Yeah, just start explaining, and then like immediately cut yourself off. Go honk, and then continue explaining without missing a beat.
I can enthusiastically honk like that, no problem. Absolutely. And then we can do it again too. We can do it twice.
Now see that? This run will be 9%.
Yeah, because you got that. Yeah, I see the one tile not there now. That's awesome. When Indra drowns, she loses her sunglasses.
Alright, back to you.
Alright, yeah, so then coming up right here, we're actually going to see in just a moment the first and only boss of the run.
That's next one up.
Yeah, I know. But that's all there is. That's the next real big talk. Oh, no, I'm talking about distortion. Right, my bad. I'm looking at my notes wrong. That's a problem. So by holding R2 right as we collect distortion here, we're actually able to start the disruption field here to get this trigger for the switch just a little bit quicker, save us a couple seconds. That's right. I skipped a note. I'm a failure. You gotta be bad when you skip your own notes. That's terrible.
I've done it.
I mean, we've all done it, but still. I can still blame myself. Yada yada type platforming, yada yada. Enemies just don't want to hit you half the time. Then into the note about this is currently the first and only boss that we're going to see in this run. Axiom Verge 2, every single boss in this game is optional.
Actually, going through that screen below this one might be a really good point. Never mind.
You see right here, Seraphin's going to attempt to open the menu on the same frame that they hit the urn here. That would allow us to save quit immediately, saving roughly 7 seconds of time.
Going through that screen with all the drones and stuff might be actually a good time to mention that in this game you could just walk through enemies, because enemies don't have natural hitboxes.
Okay, sounds good. Oh! Got you. So now we're going to do Moonwalk Part 2 into Backstab number 2. So once again, very similar to the first Backstab there. Again, Seraphin's gonna go based off of audio. So once he gets there, we're gonna have to hold on just a minute. But same thing, locked in position, using the melee weapon to go down left, pushing themselves off the screen to the right.
Doing this one about twice as long.
And once again, you could see the mini map to kind of see where Indra's position is.
Man, that one's rough.
And we are through. And that's going to bring us to the biggest trick of the run here. The skew that's coming up. So what we're going to do is rush here to fire the drone off here to the right. And then again, we're going to be setting up another save quit mechanic. We're going to open up the door here so the drone can fall down into the save here. We're going to save there, go back to Indra, and then we're going to head left. And what we want to do here is open up the switch that's here, and then fire the drone, and then pause the menu with Indra in just the correct spot where that wall just opened up.
That might be too low.
If we do it correctly, what's going to happen is by having the drone be operational, we come back to the save quit spot as the drone. We then revert back to Indra's position. If Indra is in the right spot with that wall, we'll actually get pushed through the wall. As you can see right here, she was just too low, so we're going to have to reset it up again.
That might be right.
That looks pretty good to me, yeah.
Rebecca, thank you for the follow. I'd respond sooner, but...
And we'll know it's right if we come in here and Indra is through the wall. Once again, just a little too low. That looks perfect now. That should be amazing, yeah. And Seraphin, don't forget to hold R2 when the time comes.
So like I said, I would just mention it's like going through the hallway. It's like we're gonna hold R2 the whole way through the hallway because...
Oh, wow.
Come on, game.
That looks perfect, too. That's unfortunate.
Thank you. Like mentioned, just holding R2 through the whole hallway, because that makes so when we do the stream transition into the last room, it's already active, which saves a little bit of time. Come on, game!
Wow. Wow. It's being stingy this time around.
Get shown. Like, I always just hold R as it goes to it. Should I not hold right? I guess don't hold right is the trick
There we
there.
go.
Okay.
Now we're in.
That's a thing I'll note. Yeah, it's like hold R2 through this whole section. Make a small jump.
And make a small jump here, holding R2, and then as the screen starts to transition, this is where we kind of cross our fingers for a moment and make sure that we're in the right spot.
I think I let go of right too soon. Though, again, I don't even know if that matters. I don't know what makes this work. It just does.
We just play game. And that will warp us right into the final boss's room, right here. Now, I say the final boss's room, there usually is a final boss fight if you play this game casually, but since we never met the final boss, all we have to do is trigger these 4 pods to set off the bomb. That doesn't mean the game is done, however. Just like any true Metroidvania, there now is an escape sequence. So if you have one quick donation, we can go ahead and squeeze that in right now.
Got about 30 seconds.
And as we come into the final hallway here, time is going to be coming up momentarily as the screen fades to black. So we just have to get Indra up to the top a little bit more. But unfortunately, for this game, it doesn't matter if Indra makes it out, just Indra or the drone, either one of them. And since the drone's just a little bit quicker...
I finally get that trick to work, and I released the drone before it touched the ground.
And that is time.
I'm so mad at myself for that.
That was funny, though. That was great. You nailed it.
Yeah, I guess instead of taking a drink of pop, I shall take a drink of water.
That is Axiom Verge 2, 80%. You can see only 3% items and 9% map. Very, very well done.
And then we can get in shoutouts and stuff, and I'm going to have stuff wrote up for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point in time, you can kind of take over and do what you got to do.
Like, I can't believe I get the straight-up drone released. Because, like, you can release drone prior to actually being above the ledge, which will cause us so drone doesn't actually get on the ledge. It's just straight time loss. But if you throw drone high enough, then release it and just hold left, you can land it on the ledge and not have to jump up on the final step, which is like half a second faster or so.
Yeah. But I mean, still, with the stingiest wall clip we've ever seen, that's still a 1224. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That was, yeah.
That wall was just, that was brutal. That positioning was perfect twice in my eyes, and it said no.
What did that take me, like 4 tries?
I think it was 5, 4? I don't know, too many, unfortunately.
It was too many.
But still, I mean, that's great that went that wrong, and still you're 35 seconds underestimate. So that's great.
Yeah, no, it's like the worst part is like when that fails 3 times and then the skew fails 3 times and then I go, that's the... As long as I come out underestimate, I'll be happy. RTA estimate. Because it takes time to reload the game, so... Which is why I also moved my Epic window to my other screen. So that way I don't have to swap in between things on this one. I just reach my mouse over, click it, and boom. It's like, okay, gotta save time. It's not bad though. It's like, what, 4 solid runs so far?
Yeah.
The only thing I actually think, like, everything was good that run. I think probably the only thing I want to note is just the very beginning, mentioned going left to get the first item to go right. Because it's required for you to go right. And that's the typical Metroid thing, is go left to get Morph Ball to go right. It's just one of those things, like, if you're gonna mention the typical Metroidvania thing, it's like, then, it's like, that's what really cinches it, is like, it's go left to be able to go right.
Not in Metroid Dread.
Not in Dread, yeah.
And annoyed me.
In Dread, you've got to wait, like, an hour and a half to get Morph Ball.
Damn it.
That was so weird to go that long without Morph Ball.
It was very odd for a Metroid game, but hey. Props for trying.
Alright. Ready for another one?
Let's do it.
Alright, let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, welcome to Axiom Verge 2, everybody. So, this is our main character, Indra, getting flown in on her helicopter into Antarctica. She's here to investigate some weird doings going on here. With any true Metroidvania, we're going to start out going to the left here to make so then we can go back right. We're also going to be abusing some save quit mechanics, which allow us to avoid some backtracking here. You're going to see right away here, Seraphin does it once and gets Indra's position right back to the helicopter right away. We're also going to do it again in just another minute. That's going to save, again, some unnecessary backtracks. Our main objective at this point in time now is we need to turn the power back on at this base. It's kind of the game's way of just showing us some basic mechanics, movements, attacking, all that sort of stuff. Once Seraphin gets the power turned back on, we're going to save quit back again. It's actually going to put us at the bottom of that base we just exited out of, which is really convenient because it's right where we want to be.
That's what I don't want to do with GDQ.
So I'll turn the power back on. It's going to allow us to get through this little door right here and allow us to take the elevator Serpent's actually going to duck down here just to make the prompt for the elevator go that much quicker. Saves a few seconds. Saves maybe half a second, give or take. But in an 11-minute run, every frame, every half second counts.
You could note that the timer's done in frames.
True. So at this point in time, we're going to start diving deeper to try to figure out what's going on. The story basically plots out the reasons why Indra needs to go down here. You start to see these rumbles on the screen. Serpent's actually going to pick up the swag compass, or the donut, as I like to call it. Gives us something pretty to look at on the screen. Allows us to find items in the game, but we're not going to need that for this run. So what we're going to do right now is there's actually a forced depth animation that happens here. On the 8th splash of the water, you're going to see Serpent go back to the right and kind of get stuck against the wall here, which allows Indra to go vertical and start this drowning sequence just a little bit quicker. Once again, saving a couple seconds over the normal route. So while this is happening now, we're actually going to get death warped onto dry land, and that's going to allow Seraphim to do the moonwalk. The moonwalk is very simple, just by holding left on the D-pad, holding right on the analog stick, or vice versa. You can get Indra to moonwalk for us.
I think getting caught on the wall saves you like half a minute, by the way.
I mean, I don't know how much time it saves. I have to look it up. Yeah. I'm going to look it up and give you a real number.
Insert my line.
Yeah. Insert all the cool kids do the moonwalk. That's going to take us to our first big skip of the run called the Backstab. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take Indra, and you can kind of lock her position in place and have her swing with the melee weapon down left. And that'll kind of push her body just a little bit to the right. And actually, we can push her off screen, but she keeps moving even off screen. You'll see that on the mini-map coming up here. And that allows us to do a little skip around a barrier. And there it is. And so by simply pushing Indra off to the right that much, she's able to fall there. And then if you hold right on the D-pad to move, it actually forces the screen transition the other way. It allows you to get through that barrier, allowing us to get the ledge grab much quicker than normally intended. At that point in time, normally we'd have to go grab a boomerang item so we can hit some switches and get into this room. But by bypass, we can bypass all of that. Obligatory if you have any donations time.
You missed the honk, by the way.
I gotta get on the second one. I'm trying to get the backstab explanation. I missed the honk. I was too focused on trying to get all that crap in. I'll get it. Honk! It's not really bad. I'm gonna do it anyway. Gotta remind myself now.
I just want you to do it like mid-sentence and then keep talking.
I gotta remember to do that because like there's just so much I'm trying to say right there before because I don't want to screw up your audio cue. I gotta remember to do that though, because that will be hysterical. The only problem is that you're gonna laugh if I do it. If I pull it off, I don't want to throw you.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna laugh, and it'll be totally fine.
I will do my best. I really will.
Like, I assure you, you're not gonna throw me off at all by doing that. Let's see if I can not botch this whole area this time.
Oh, you got this.
I'm gonna go for the swag jump on this. I didn't get it. If you jump that just right, you can jump, hit the mine back, and catch the front pixel of the corner and jump up to the upper ledge.
Jeez, I did not know that.
It's like frames faster than the way that I've been doing it. It's also a hell of a lot harder. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wherever the name of this thing is, I forget. I gotta look at the name of this, but we're gonna hold R2 as we grab it. That's gonna allow us to get the disruptor going just a little bit faster for us, so we can catch this block and get back up, saving us again about a second or two. this point in time, you're going to notice a lot of the enemies, you can actually just walk right through them. They all have their little like laser grids, and that's what they use to see and try to shoot you. But pretty much every enemy in this game doesn't really have a hitbox. they're very imaginary, so you're going to see Seraphine abuse. You're going to see Seraphine abuse that mechanic by just walking right through them right here. Coming up here, you're going to see a fun fact about Axiom Verge 2 in that all bosses in this game are fully optional. In fact, this is the only boss of the run we're even going to look at. Everyone say hello. And goodbye. And that's going to allow us to go and pick up our next upgrade. That's Damu. At this point in time, if we can actually frame perfectly, hit the urn and open the menu save tab, we actually save quit a little bit quicker, which would save us about 7 seconds. Unfortunately, Seraphine was just a touch off there. It's a really difficult trick to do.
Frame perfect.
Not saying it. Okay, you look bad.
I'll say
you couldn't get that done? That's fine. So that's going to set us up to abuse the save quit mechanic again. We're going to do the We're going to do the Moonwalk Part 2 here, and we're going to set up our second Backstab, which is done just the same way as the first one. It's about twice as long this time, and once again, Seraphine does it based off audio, so we're going to go silent here in just a moment.
Maragon, what do you actually call the trick of pushing yourself off screen to wrap around the barriers? Because you'd be the one who would know.
True.
I missed a bunch of them that time.
And that allows us to skip through that barrier as well. That's going to put us pretty much to like the last area of the game, actually. And what we're going to do now is Seraphine's going to use the drone and set up what we call the skew. What we're going to do here is open up a pathway to allow us to get to a safe spot right here. You're just going to see Seraphine save and then revert back to Indra's position. We're now going to go left. And the goal here now is there's another switch in the next room over that we need to hit to open up, and we actually want to throw the drone and then open the menu when Indra is right up against the wall that we just opened up. We're going to then save the game as the drone, which is going to bring us back as the drone at the safe spot we just opened up. We're going to revert back to Indra's position again and actually have the wall push us out of bounds, as you see right here. And you can still see Indra moving on the minimap as it is. Right now, we're going to hold R2 the whole time. And if everything is done just right, you're going to see the screen drop to the right, and it'll actually push us into the boss room. Not happening here, obviously, but
you might want to mention that there's actually a little tiny hop that you have to make, and if you jump too high, it screws up the transition. Because that's what I just did.
Okay. So taking it again, we're going to use the save quit to come back as the drone here and revert ourselves back to Indra's position. And that wall that was open will actually push us out of bounds. So we're going to hold R2 and right. There's a small jump that we need to make right here.
This one. It's at like the second purple line off the map.
Gotcha. And that's going to actually screen wrap us over here and should hopefully push us into the final room. Or sometimes it can push you lower and out of bounds. So what we're going to have to do now is actually just force quit the game and reopen it.
That's a soft lock, by the way.
Unfortunately, we still have our save from the drone's location here, so it really doesn't lose that much time. And we're going to try it again, doing the same exact thing we just did.
This would be a good time to get in a donation. Since we're
if Yep. If a mistake happens, I'll say, hey, we can squeeze a donation in here. Yep.
And we hope for the best. Sometimes the game just doesn't want to play nice.
Then obviously we would say, yeah, we can keep going with donations. Blah, 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 blah.
That one felt good. So, meaning it'll put me through the floor.
Fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen.
Called it. I almost went to start new.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk. Here we go.
Oh, that would be a terrible thing to do, is accidentally go to start new because there's no warning.
Yeah, that would be brutal.
Just rip the run at the end of it. Just like,
We'll pull up a YouTube video of how this gets done real quick.
I'd never get invited back to a GDQ again. Cross his fingers in Spanish. What?
That's Rebecca's thing. She always does everything in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Stubborn.
Yeah, obligatory comment about how this game sometimes just doesn't want to play nice. I blame myself for not getting the first honk off. I didn't appease the gods.
Seriously, and this is part of why I don't mind doing all this practice. It's like, I'd really like to learn what actually causes this. What actually makes this work. I'm not even holding any buttons right now.
Oh boy.
See?
Yeah, there we are. And that's going to bring us into the final boss's room. But since we ever actually met the final boss during the run, there is no final boss. Again, enemies are an illusion in this game. What we have to do right here is just activate the 4 pillars there. That's going to fill up this bomb to start a detonation sequence. So we have about 30 seconds. If you want to, we can squeeze in 1 donation right here. And time is going to be coming up momentarily here once we get to a fade to black screen. With just a couple tiles left here. Funny thing about this game is it doesn't matter if Indra escapes or the drone escapes, the game just wants someone to live. And by standing up on the ledge there it is. And that is time.
We just casually seal Indra in with the explosion. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I was going for the pop again. Let's... Man, okay, the last 2 runs have been a stickler on me here. So, why don't we take a little break and clear our heads for a moment, get our thoughts together on this, and then we'll come back and we'll do a good one.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So expect it whenever I finish. Yeah, okay. That's kind of what I was figuring, is you would hit me with it in between the runs, because I'm not stopping in between runs to do anything. Or not stopping during a run to do anything, so... we're gonna get up, take a little break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna do 1 or 2 really, hopefully really solid runs between his commentary and my run. So, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, maybe we'll get really lucky and see a sub 11 tonight. Got a couple really good starts. I just have to carry it all the way through the run. So we're back in a few. Alright, I am back.
I am also back.
Fantastic. Alright, you ready to give this one or two, like, real runs?
Absolutely, buddy.
Okay.
I am here for it.
Alright, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Axiom Verge 2. You're going to be seeing our main protagonist, Indra, here, coming in on her helicopter. There's been a mishap here at her base in Antarctica, so she's coming here to investigate. Like any good true Metroidvania, we have to start out by going left in order to go right. And this game has a very interesting mechanic in which we can abuse by saving and quitting the game. That's going to allow Seraphim to avoid some unnecessary backtracking, saving a few seconds. You'll see the first one right here coming up. And we're going to go over here to the right, and what we need to do now is get the power turned on at the base. And we'll be able to abuse another save-quit mechanic. So right now we're just going to be going through the basic area. The game kind of set you up to show you how to use the weapons and jump around and do basic platforming. Obviously, as speedrunners, we kind of already have those ideas down, so... You're going to see right over here that Seraphim's going to now turn on the power, and in doing so, save quit again. That's going to put us right back at the bottom of the previous base we were at. And that's right where we want to be, actually. It's very convenient placement. So we're going to go over here to the right through the door that opens now with the power turned on. We're going to go through this garage door looking thing. Actually, Seraphim's going to duck down here doing it, allowing the enter prompt to happen just a bit faster. In a run that's only about 11 minutes long, we want to try to save as many frames as we possibly can. The screen kind of bugs out for a minute there and brings us through a new area with a very nice bing bong. And we'll get outside here to see that we're still... Are we still in the same area? Are we not? Not quite sure, to be honest.
Maybe Antarctica.
Possible Antarctica question mark. So what Indra's doing now is you're starting to see these rumbles on the screen, and Indra's trying to investigate where all her people have gone. So she keeps diving down deeper. You see Seraphim actually do the swag grab on the compass here. Compass allows us to see where items are in this game, but we're not worried too much about that for this run today. As we dive into the water here, there's actually a quicker way to get through this. This is a forced death animation. The 8th water splash here, you're going to see Seraphim dive back towards the right side and kind of hug the wall. And get stuck here, and as Indra goes vertical, you actually can go to the menu, and it starts the death animation a lot quicker, saving roughly 30 seconds. Note to look that up. Note to look that up and find out how much time it saves.
Catching the wall does it faster.
Yeah.
Hitting the item button starts the drowning sequence. After catching the wall, about a second faster.
Yeah. So what it's going to do is that's going to start the death animation and bring us back on dry land here, where Seraphim's going to execute a moonwalk for us, and that's by simply holding the left and the right buttons on the D-pad and the analog stick at the same time.
Remember, all the cool kids... Or I can just mess the moonwalk up.
Honk. So, that's going to lead us over to our first big skip of the game here, the backstab. And so what Seraphim's going to be aiming to do here is locking Indra's position in place and using her melee weapon and swinging down left. And that's going to push Indra just a little bit to the right every time and actually pushes her off the screen and off these ledges. You're going to see her movement on the mini-map here. And that's going to allow Seraphim to know where she is.
Kind of botched the first part a little bit.
And by doing that and seeing the mini-map start to fall there, we're actually... Seraphim just pushes to the right, like, for movement, and actually does a screen transition to get through that barrier, allowing us to grab this ledge grab item quicker. For the next 2 minutes, there's going to be just a lot of basic platforming, so if we have any donations, now would be the time. Blah, 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 blah.
Should I figure out the actual time?
Yeah, so, I will. I'll get if it gets to the point where I'm going to be the person doing it, if it fits into my schedule, I'm going to go through, I'm going to look at, like, everything in deep detail. Yeah. And say, oh, we have X amount of time, or it saves X amount of time, or whatever the situation is. We'll really dive deep into it and make sure that it's very, very cleaned up.
Right, and I'd assume you'd get the little mentioning of the audio cue.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Yeah, again, during that time after you get the trick, I would explain that's how you figure it out.
Yeah, like you would have had the time, but I messed up the moonwalk, and that kind of threw it off. Like I said, there's a lot to mention in this run in very short amounts of time.
Yeah, and again, if I have to steal 15 seconds after you get that first stab done, then that's what I have to do in order to fully explain what happened. That's fine.
And this is why I can't commentate this run myself, because, like, there's a lot.
There's a lot of things happening, absolutely.
And that's on top of me trying to keep up with extremely tight platforming. I'm gonna try this again.
Oh, it was there. That was super close. And again, I gotta go get the actual name of the disruptor here.
Right about here is where you'd want to cut the duration, so it's about 1.5 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah, give or take. Maybe a minute 45, and then this is where we mentioned about holding the R2 button right away to start the disruption. That way you don't have to wait for it to build, so you can hit this switch a little bit quicker to save us about a second or two. This is the moment where we're talking about the enemies have almost no hitboxes. You can see that Seraphim can take Indra and just kind of run right through everybody. They all have their little laser grids, and that's kind of how they sense Indra's position and where to fire, but the enemies themselves you can just walk right through. Enemies are absolute illusion in this game. And speaking of illusions, this game also, every single boss in this game is optional. We're actually going to see the first and only boss of the run right here. Everyone say hello. I forget his name, but I would put his name in there too.
And let's say goodbye.
And then we'll all say goodbye, and then we're going to go grab our next upgrade, which is the drone. What Seraphims going to attempt to do right here is if you could actually open the menu at the same frame as you hit the urn, you could actually get the save quit instantly instead of having to wait for the whole animation to play out, saving about 7 seconds. Since we didn't see it the first time, we're going to try to do the moonwalk again here.
For real, all the cool kids do the moonwalk.
There we go, perfect. Honk! And so this is going to set us up to go towards Backstab number 2. It's going to be the same exact setup as what we did for the first one. It's going to be about twice as long this time. But once again, lock position, use the melee weapon, swing down left to push yourself right off the screen.
Very careful not to grab platforms on falling.
And once again, this is an audio cue, so we have to go silent here for just a moment. Okay, we are through that barrier as well now. That's going to put us right into about the last area of the game here. And so that's, we're going to just blah, 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 blah. What we're doing now is be setting up what we're calling the skew. What we're going to do is we're actually going to throw the drone over to the right here and activate a save spot right down here that we're going to need to abuse. And after we save here, we're going to revert back to Indra's position. We're going to go to the left. And what we need to do here is hit a switch to open up a wall, then throw our drone out, and when the drone is operational, pause the menu when Indra is right up against the wall we just opened.
Right in the spacing for the wall.
And if we do it correctly, what we're going to do is then save quit back out and have the come back to the drone and revert back to Indra's position again. And if done right, that wall is now going to be in place, and it's going to push Indra out of bounds here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the right, hold R2. There's going to be a small jump right here that we have to execute. And then this is the moment where we all cross our fingers that the game behaves for us. You're going to see it's going to scroll to the right here, and it can do a few different things for us. And if it sets us with the right one, we'll be very happy. Unfortunately, it did not give us the right one. It actually kicked us through the floor there. We were hoping it would put us above that floor. So what we have to do now is actually force quit the game, and we'll reopen it right from that spot where the drone at the save point, and we'll get pushed through the wall again. So this takes about 30 seconds to reset up. So if we have time for one, we have time for one donation if there is one.
I'd still like to know what makes this work.
Me too, actually, now. I had no ambition until I started watching you do this. Now I'm very curious. And there we are. We got pushed into the final boss's room. Now, since we ever actually met the final boss's game, there is no boss that's loaded into this room. So all you have to do is go to these 4 teleporters here, hit the switches, and then they're going to, all that little green time is going to fill up inside of this bomb that we're going to set to detonate. Getting good Metroid game, there's now an escape sequence. Once again, we have about 30 seconds, so if you have a quick donation, now would be a time. The time is going to be coming up momentarily here when the screen fades to black. One thing about this game is that the game doesn't care if Indra or the drone escapes, just as long as one of them is free. And so it's actually just a little bit faster if we throw the drone right at the end here. Just once somebody gets to the top of this ledge, there we go. You'll see Indra's underneath as this big bomb explodes. We're not sure what happens to Indra, but that is time right there.
That's a sub 11:10.
That was beautiful, actually.
11:07. If I hadn't botched the boxes in the very beginning, it would have been 11:05. And I could think of like one or two other small things.
Well, we did have to. I mean, RTA wouldn't be 11:07, unfortunately, but
IGT 11:07 is really, really good.
No, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. It's just too bad it wasn't single segment. Alright, I got about 12 minutes. We got time for one more.
We can squeeze one more in.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm gonna crack my knuckles here real quick.
There you go.
Might get an extra hydrate in just for you, Wonder.
I'll join you. Why not?
Alright, last run of the night. Let's do it. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, everybody. Welcome to Axiom Verge 2. As you can see, our protagonist Indra is getting flown in on her helicopter here. The game kind of starts out, there's some sort of an issue at her base here in Antarctica, and she's here to investigate. Like any true Metroidvania game, we're going to start out by going left in order to go right. And this game has a very interesting mechanic with our ability to save quit and revert Indra back to original positions, which you're going to see Seraphim do right here. By picking up the first item, we save quit back out, and it puts her right in front of the helicopter, so we don't have to backtrack. In a run that's only roughly 11 minutes long, we want to try to save every one of those 1 to 2 second time saves that we can. So our next objective in this area now is going to be to get the power turned back on. This is kind of the game's way of showing some basic platforming, basic attacking, how the movement works, things of that nature. Obviously, as a speedrunner, Seraphim already knows all of this very well, so the objective is just go fast. Once we get the power turned back on again right here, you're going to see Seraphim. And once again, save quit. And it's going to now put us at the bottom of the previous base we're at, which is perfect location because that's exactly where we want to go anyway. Once again, saving a few seconds of back travel. You'll see the power on, that door now opens on the side, and we can now go through this garage door. Seraphim's actually going to duck down in order to get the prompt to then close the door and get the transporter moving. Just a little bit quicker. And see, the screen kind of goes nuts, and we come out of the door, and now we are in possible still Antarctica?
Definite maybe Antarctica.
Definite maybe Antarctica. I can say that.
Oh no, I'm just going to respond to you there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm a big fan. And so at this point in time, the story is that Indra is now looking for all of her employees that were at the base. She's not sure where they've gone, so she's going to keep going down deeper and start to get these earthquake rumblies going on. And we're going to see a little bit of a swag item grab right here by Seraphim, grabbing the compass. Compass, or the donut, shows item locations in the game. So, we don't really need the item locations, but we're going to go there anyway. So now that we're in the water, there's actually a 4th death animation here. On the 8th splash of water here, you're going to see Seraphim go back to the right and kind of gets caught in the wall here to where Indra's position goes full vertical. You then go into the item menu, and it actually starts the death animation sequence a little bit quicker, saving roughly half a minute of time.
Overall, half a minute between catching the wall and the item.
And the quick animation, yeah. And so now that's actually going to, the first animation is going to now actually put us back out on the dry land in a different spot altogether, where Seraphim's going to attempt to do the moonwalk for us, which is done by holding 2 different directions at the same time, of left and right. And just by holding both those directions, you can actually get Indra to moonwalk for as long as you need to. And that's going to set us up to our first big skip in a moment.
Remember, all the cool kids do the moonwalk.
As you can see right here. So the first big skip of the run honk is going to be called the Backstab. And so what we're going to do is actually, if you take Indra and lock her position and then swing down left, every time she hits the ground, she's going to get pushed right. And eventually we can push her off screen. You'll still see her movement going on the mini-map here, but it allows us to get through a barrier in just a moment, and I'll explain how that works. And there we are, through the first barrier. So Seraphim does all that by audio cue, so that's kind of why we had to just give him a moment to get through that area. But once you see the map and Indra starts to fall there, by pressing right, you actually can get the screen to transition, and her position gets behind that barrier, allowing us to pick up this urn, which is the ledge grab, early. So for the next minute and a half, give or take, it's going to be just a lot of tight platforming, so if we have any donations, now would be a great time.
I don't know how you want to word it, but you might want to word the audio cue first.
Yeah, I gotta do something to try. I tried to squeeze it in before you were going, but I didn't want to do it while you were getting ready to start hitting. I tried to make it all fit in the beginning, and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
So we'll have to clean again. It'll have to be cleaned up a little bit more.
I keep missing that platform. Haven't done that in a while.
It's funny. It looked short when you did it. I'm like, oh, and it was like I don't know. I guess I've watched too many runs now.
I'll do the full jump on GDQ. I don't care about the 1%.
Right.
I think right about after the mine jump coming up is about when you'll want to cut off donation, because it might run just a little bit back past that.
Yeah. Yes, I think what would be done is like I'd say we have time for 1 or 2, and then have them do 1, and then they'll probably be like, can I get 1 more in? And I'll just base it depending on how long it takes them to get the first one out.
Yeah, because somewhere
right here, that's got to be done. Yeah.
Well,
actually, probably more like here, but anyway. And so there's just a very small optimization right here by Seraphim. is going to hold R2 as they smash the urn here to get the disruptor, which allows it to start growing right away. You can see that it's just touching that block, which saves about 1 or 2 seconds overall. Again, just a minor optimization, but in an 11-minute run, we want to try to save as much possible time as we can. And also, a fun fact about Axiom Verge 2 is that a lot of the enemies in this game just flat don't have a hitbox. You see they all have their little like laser fields coming out, and that's how they kind of sense Indra's position, and they can shoot at her or attack her in some way. But the actual enemies themselves, you can walk right through, as you see Seraphim does right there. This game is very big on illusions. Speaking of illusions, this game, all bosses in this game are optional, including the one and only boss Q name that we'll see right here. Everyone say hello and say goodbye. And that's going to allow us to grab our next big upgrade, Damu. Seraphim's going to attempt right there to try and, if you could actually hit the urn at the same frame that you get the menu to pull up, you can actually save quit right away too, saving about 7 seconds. But again, frame perfect trick, so very difficult to get. So once we save quit back out again to the last save spot that we've used, we're going to execute another moonwalk here. And that's going to take us down to the next the next shaft that we have to go to, which is going to set up Backstab number 2. And so Backstab number 2 is going to be set up just the same way as Backstab number 1 was. The only difference is that this one is about twice as long, and again, it's going to be based off of audio cues. So once Seraphim gets there, we're going to go silent and have a moment of serious time. You're going to see it's going to come up right on at the end of this screen right here. And we're through. And this is going to kind of push us into the last area of the game. And now what we need to do is the hardest trick of the game. Of course, we saved the hardest for last, and that's going to be setting up our skew here. So by setting up the drone to the right here, we're actually going to go and activate another save portal. What we're going to do here is Seraphim's going to save with the drone, revert back to Indra's position, and we're going to go to the left. Now what we need to do here is open up a switch in the next room, then throw out the drone, and then pause the game when Indra is right in the spot of the wall where we just are opening up right here. And if done correctly, yeah, it might be slightly high, we'll see, but if done correctly, that wall will actually be back in its normal place in the closed position. It will push Indra out of bounds. We'll know in just a couple seconds here. Yep, just a touch too high there. So we have to retry. That looks like it was a little bit better. We should be fine. Once again, we'll see in just a second here. There we go. So now we are out of bounds. And so we're going to go over to the right here. We're then going to hold R2 to get our disruption ready. We're just a small hop right here. That is very tight timing. You have to be very careful not to jump too high or you'll lose the trick. And so now this is the one where we're all going to cross our fingers to the gamer gods and hope that it puts us in the right position. There's a couple different things it can do here. We want to go up through the ceiling, not down through the floor. That's what we're looking for here. And it pushes us down through the floor. So what that actually is a soft lock. So now what we need to do is force quit the game, and we're going to retry it again. Fortunately, it's only about a 30-second time loss. So if we have time for one quick donation, please go ahead. And once again, fingers crossed to the gods.
Something. I don't think GDQ likes mentioning God on stream. Just
I
for the record.
do that, I guess, but hey, it's all good.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's better to be safe than sorry anyway. And there we get pushed through the ceiling right there. And then we're actually in the final boss's room, but since we never met the final boss of the game, there was no final boss. So all we have to do now is hit these 4 switches, which will load up the bomb in the middle of the room. And once we set the bomb to detonate, now we have to make with any good Metroidvania and escape. So once again, we have about 30 seconds if we want. We can squeeze in 1 donation right here. Now, we just have one last vertical climb to go here, so time is going to be coming up momentarily on the fade to black. One thing about this game is that the game doesn't necessarily care if Indra escapes, just that something escapes. So it's actually slightly faster for us to allow the drone to escape here at the end. Which you'll see Seraphin do right there. And then Indra gets hit by the bomb there, we're not really sure, but that is time. GG, hugs and hand pounds all around.
Sub 11:30. I'll still take it.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
11:30 IGT. Probably closer to about 12 minutes RTA.
Yeah.
Good commentary, Phil.
There you go. Thanks, buddy. And there you go. Congratulations and shout outs and all that stuff, and we're home free.
Yeah. And then I can stop having a panic attack the entire time. I'm specifically not going to have like the GDQ web page open.
No, you don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that probably 6-digit viewer count.
I was gonna say it's gonna be at least 90,000 people. You don't want that in your life.
Like,
I'll have it open because I'm curious, but other than that,
like I'll pull it back later and watch it.
Absolutely.
But, like I'll probably pull up the GDQ stream like right after we're clear and off the air, just to see how many people are watching at that time, and I'm just like, oh, there's like 150,000 people that just watched me just bomb that run horribly.
You're not gonna bomb it. I mean, you gotta remember, 98% of those people have no idea these tricks even exist, so they're just gonna be like, wow, that was awesome. Even if it takes a couple tries, they won't care.
Right.
So
I'll make sure to inform you the moment the run ends. I'll be there.
I'm pretty sure that we'll all know that moment. That's funny.
Well, that was a blast.
Hey, good runs.
So I'm probably gonna be back. No, it's not in person. It's online.
It's not in person.
But like, I assume that they'll have somebody on there that'll just be like, "Okay, you're clear." Have a good night, Maragon. Like, that's what I assume. So somebody there just be like, "Okay, you're clearing off the air now."
There will be somebody that's heading it up through Discord or whatever, and saying, "Okay, we're on, we're off, whatever." At least if it's anything like the hotfix, then which I assume it's very similar.
I assume probably it would be like 12 people. Yeah, probably.
I believe it.
Well, thank you guys
awesome.
for being here. Thank you, Falc, for coming and doing commentary repeatedly.
No problem, buddy. I hope I did you at least semi-proud.
Oh, like I said, I think your commentary is fantastic. Like, Thoriel's got his work cut out for him to get on par with you.
Well, I'm sure he'll do a great job as well.
I'm sure he will. Speaking of Thoriel, I should hopefully be back next week. I'll be doing some more runs, because I'll probably be doing runs weekly up until, like, maybe the week before GDQ, which is the second week in January, I believe.
It usually is, yeah.
66 days from now. Well, now technically 65.
Yeah, it starts on the 9th. Starts on the 9th. There you go.
Speaking of Thoriel, you have your work cut out for you to get commentary on par with Falc's, because Falc got it down.
Murica. Bring it on, Canada. Alright, I'm done. That was me. I'm done.
I will be letting everyone know exactly the day and time when the run is. I assume I'll probably find out next month when whatever the actual schedule comes out is when I'll find out. But yes, Thoriel, speaking of you, hopefully me and you should be able to get some time next week to sit down and see what you can do with commentary and...
Schedule is released in 3 days, on the 8th.
Is it really?
According to their website.
Okay, so we'll find out.
We'll know on the 8th.
We'll know in 3 days then when I'll be running. Which is good, because the sooner I can let work know, the more likely I get the day off. I've already actually had it worked out with work. Like, my work's like, yeah, no, we'll get you the day off, don't worry about it. Because I didn't tell them what exactly it was for. I was just like, so I got accepted into a charity event. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll work with you.
There you go.
So.
Beautiful.
Good work, Val. Let's see what we can go raid.
Yeah, great work to you, buddy. You're doing all the hard work. I'm just talking.
Charity vacation. Let's go check out what's going on Twitch today. What do we got going on? It's like 9,500 people watching Dread right now.
Most of them are watching Oats and Goats play Dread, yeah.
Probably
3,500. Yeah.
There's Critical Role's doing Dungeons and Dragons. Who we got playing stuff? Is there anybody actually playing Axiom Verge tonight? Probably not. Wait, what am I doing? I could just check the Discord for that. For those who aren't on the Axiom Verge Discord, you guys, if anybody's actually interested in like running this game or running Axiom Verge 1 or randomizer for Axiom Verge 1, come join the Discord for Axiom Verge. Like, they are an amazing, great group of people. Falc is one of the mods over on the Discord, and he can attest for that. Thoriel's on the Discord. I'm on the Discord, obviously.
There's the
there you go.
Discord right there, if anybody's interested.
It's like, they're an amazing group of people who are more than willing to help you out and help you learn the game, help you learn routing, help you learn different random tricks and strats and all kinds of things. Like, and with like Axiom Verge 1 randomizer, like, we are always looking for more people to play with.
Absolutely.
I would love to do more Axiom Verge 1 races, just I kind of lack some time for it, and there's not a lot of us around that actually play consistently, let alone anymore. But it's like, it's kind of getting back now that it is out on Switch. It's out on Epic Game Store. It's out on Steam. And it's officially out now. It's no longer in a beta. And it's coming to PS4 soon. So Axiom Verge 1 Randomizer is kind of picking up some steam again. Like, we got I think there's been like 3, 4, 5 people in the last like month or so since it got released that have just shown up on the Discord and be like, how do I do these things? Or like, how does this logic working? And like, everybody's just there and immediately ready to help. And it's like, you can do this and you can do this and there's these tricks and like, you can use this for this, and it's great. I have no idea who to go raid tonight. Falc, you got any opinion?
I mean, are you looking for somebody playing Metroidvania? Does it matter? Is it anybody we know?
Yeah, let's stick with Metroidvania. I mean, you know anybody doing anything right now?
Any Metroidvania? No. Other than a lot of Dread stuff. But like, nobody I know personally.
Raid a random person playing something. Yeah, I could probably do that.
I mean, I've got a buddy playing Hollow Knight.
You know what? There's somebody doing world record attempts for Metroid Dread any percent. You ever heard of Mr. Dino?
I have not.
Alright, well, he's doing world record attempts for Dread, and I'm interested to see how this works out, because at some point soon-ish, me and Crusagram are supposed to do a Metroid Dread 0% race. Mind you, we've both played Metroid Dread like twice. So that should be crazy. Yeah, I think there is one person playing Axiom Verge, but it looks like they were in French.
Yeah, they're still in French. Yeah. French, Quebec, English. Yeah. So he's French Canadian. So
we're gonna go raid Mr. Dino 023 because I'm actually curious to see what these world record attempts for Dread actually look like. Because like I said, if I can pick up some tips on doing some crazy stuff and figure out some stuff that's gonna put give me an edge over Chris for our 0% run, then by all means, right?
Absolutely.
Not my fault he didn't look into anything. 0%. Yeah, so major power-ups don't count towards percentage, so you have to skip every missile tank, every super missile tank. Well, it's not super missile tanks, but every missile tank, every energy tank, every power bomb tank. And in doing some of the sequence breaks, getting around some of those items is really, really weird. And no, because low percent skips major items. So
yeah, because all the big upgrades you get in that game don't count towards percentage. That's why it can be labeled 0%.
You can skip like 4 major items in the game without, like, you could skip the double jump, space jump.
People are doing suitless now.
They've done suitless now, and it's
crazy.
Insane. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll be back sometime next week. Thank you guys for watching. Falc, thank you again for being here.
No problem, buddy. Anytime.
I will see you all later. That's the wrong screen.